Welcome to another episode of Everyday Photography. My name's Chris, and I'm here in the quarantine they call Connecticut, as I'm sure everybody else is stuck at home as well. We still have some state parks and stuff that we can go out that I've been going out and taking pictures at, but one thing that I've noticed is that I've been spending some time in my own backyard taking pictures. So this episode is going to be more about some things you can do around the house to be able to take pictures outside, specifically with birds and chipmunks and squirrels and things that you're going to find in your normal backyard. And I'll go through a couple different concepts about what you're going to want to look for. And then at the end, I'm going to post some pictures of what I took the other day in my own backyard. So first off, when you're doing backyard bird watching, you're going to want to make sure that you have something to attract the animals. So if you have bird feeders out there already, that's great. If you don't, and you have any bird food at all, you can put it out on rocks or put it out on the ground, anywhere where you can attract birds. If you don't have that, you can even try breaking up bread. I would just suggest breaking it into small pieces so in the picture it's going to be easy to Photoshop out, or you can avoid getting it in the picture altogether. The other thing you'll want to have is some sort of perch. So I'm sure that if you watch a lot of videos on bird watching, you probably come across the one from Moose Peterson, a very fantastic photographer. He uses all Nikon gear. He's a Nikon ambassador. He even had a video that was talking about what to do in backyard bird watching and about having perches. So a perch is all that is somewhere where the birds can land on after they get their food or before they get their food. So, my backyard thankfully has a big giant rock in it. So the birds tend to go to the bird feeders and then they go and land on the rock and then they fly away. So, I have a perch that's kind of built in. But if you don't have that, even if you can put anything that is going to be able to attract them, put a bird feeder out with bird food on it and somewhere near like a small tree that has like open branches that they can land on. That's going to help you when you're trying to get good pictures, because you don't necessarily want to have all your pictures on bird feeders. You can have some okay ones that way, but the most impactful ones are ones that don't have bird feeders in it. The other thing is putting some food on the ground too is nice, because you're going to get some chipmunks that are going to come in and some squirrels, and they tend to make some pretty good pictures of those. And as a whole, you'll be able to get all kinds of wildlife right in your own backyard. As far as gear you're going to use, that's going to be dependent on how close up you want to be. It's going to be easier if you have a longer lens to be able to take pictures. The main lens I was using the other day was my 180mm f2.8 lens, and then I also have a 300mm f4. Those are the two I use the most. Now, if you don't have a lens that's that long, and you only have maybe a kit lens that's like a 70-300 or 18-200, you can use those. You're just not going to be able to blur out as much of the background as you will with the lower aperture lenses. I prefer using the lower aperture, so like the 180mm 2.8 had fantastic pictures that I got with those, or at least that I thought they were fantastic pictures. You can be the judge of it. And then if you want to use a shorter lens, like an 85mm 1.8 or 100mm f2.8, you can do that. Like I said, it's just going to be harder because birds are pretty skittish, especially the bright, colorful birds like cardinals and finches and stuff like that. They tend to fly away pretty quick if you get anywhere near them. So unless you're planning on staying still for a very long time, it's going to be hard to capture them. So my suggestion is try to use a longer lens. And then as far as settings go, I prefer using a lower aperture. It allows more light in. It's also going to blur out that background and give you that cool bokeh in the background. And then as far as all your other settings, it's just going to be dependent on your light. So, I try to start at a low ISO just so I don't get a lot of noise in my pictures. I'm using a D500 camera now, so it's really good even at high ISO. I still tend to avoid going high ISO if I can. I'll usually only raise it up to about 400 ISO if I just need a little bit more light, unless I'm shooting in dark situations. And then as far as anything else, you're not going to need any filters. Tripod would be helpful if you're using a long lens and you're having a hard time keeping it steady, because I know the 300mm f4 is still a pretty heavy lens, so it's still hard to keep steady all the time. And then really it's about framing your picture. So As I stated before, if you can get pictures on the perch as opposed to on a bird feeder, that's going to be really helpful for you. If you take and get a chance to be able to get them on a tree in their own, natural habitat, that's really useful too. You'll see some of the pictures that I got of the chipmunks are on the trees, in and out of a rock in my yard, and then climbing on top of rocks, and same with the birds. I still have some pictures on the bird feeders, but most of them are going to be from the ground or from on one of the perches. So hopefully you'll like some of the pictures. I'm going to post them here at the end. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them for me. Make sure you like this post and you follow me. I'm going to be posting a bunch more. I edited my intro, so hopefully it's a little bit better than my boring videos that just start out with me talking. So it just has some clips in there. So let me know what you think. I'm always up for suggestions, and if you ever want to see some action out in the field when I'm taking pictures, I'm going to start posting a lot more of those. I keep saying that, but I really will, I promise. So if you have questions, let me know. Thanks.